Welcome. Your journey begins now. All systems operational.
Welcome to StarFleet Radio. We have a fun show planned for you today. We're going to be talking about 3 episodes from original Star Trek. And I have my usual co-hosts with me here today. I have Rachel and Lewis. And again, this is Marcy. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
We'll kick it off with Where No Man Has Gone Before as our first episode to discuss. My thing that I want to talk about right off the bat, those ships from the shots of the ship from outside going through this nebula, is that original? Because that looked really good.
I believe it is the remaster on Paramount Plus, so I do not think. God, I wish I have my Blu-rays somewhere, and my Blu-rays have the option to choose which version you watch. What I do like about how they did the remastered on them is that, like, they're better effects, but they're effects that still match the tone of Star Trek: The Original Series. More so than I think that the, like, Star Wars remaster, like, I think looked like a different movie.
Yeah. You mean the way that they went back, the ones in the 70s, and sort of make them look like the prequels?
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, they straight up put Hayden Christensen in them at some point. Like,
right? Yeah, it was the scene, and I guess, man, I wish I could see what the original looked like, because I want to see, like, the way that the camera, like the way the ship is moving past the camera and you're seeing all these different angles versus like the way that the nebula looks behind them at the edge of the galaxy part. I want to see like what's original and what is added in after.
This is the first episode made besides the cage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this was the pilot, the next pilot that they used, right? Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense when they're wearing uniforms and McCoy's not there.
Yeah. So the uniforms were blue, green, and then this yellow gold color. I don't think I saw any red.
No, I don't think there's any red.
No red.
And also the way the color goes, at least for me, the green and gold are often a little hard to tell apart.
And probably were even more difficult to tell apart the way the color TVs were in the 60s.
Well, I mean, because I've always heard that the yellow that's in the original series was green, like on thing, and then it just kind of like recorded yellow, and they're like, I guess it's yellow then. Because what I've heard is like, you know, where like Kirk often wear that like other green outfit.
Yeah, that more like
color, and one of the fabrics just photographed oddly.
Okay.
And so what he wore more, so they're like, okay, we're just gonna say it was gold because that's what it looks like to the majority of people. I've never been in the same room with one of these costumes.
To be fair, we were not on set. We are guessing. So this was the first time that we saw Scotty, though, and he was in gold.
Yes.
Not red, which really threw me when I was watching it.
I also, it's funny, I was like, Scotty looks so young here. Like,
he does. He looks young and fit and in gold, and I thought, is this like a Mandela effect that I'm remembering him in red? Like, was he actually in gold the whole time?
The same thing with Sulu.
Did you?
Yeah, and I was like, Sulu shouldn't. I think they just don't have red uniforms. I was like, Sulu should be in red.
I wanted to ask too, was this recorded on film? Because it is so crystal clear. There are shots where you can see the pores on Spock's face.
I think it was on film.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. I think everything would have been filmed, like recorded on film at this point, right?
Yes, I think yes.
But yeah, and then, which is why remastering it's so hard.
Yeah.
I think it's the contrary. That is why we have remastered. And that is why we don't have remastered for Deep Space Nine and Voyager. Because they are not on film.
Original Trek was shot entirely on 35mm film using large analog cameras and not on videotape.
Yeah, I think it's weird because I think they were filmed on film, Deep Space Nine and Voyager, but then like put on like tape. And so to remaster it, you have to go and find the film, put it back together, edit it again, and then like put that out. And I understand that is an expensive process. because it's very time consuming.
Very expensive. Yes.
DS9, not filmed in HD. Well, I didn't think that it was shot on 35 millimeter film and edited to 480p max resolution.
Not good.
So that's
so interesting.
That's the issue. I assume Voyager's the same because they also haven't remastered it.
Yes. It appears to be.
I think Enterprise might have been filmed digitally.
Yes, HD, I think.
Gary Mitchell's eyes are so creepy.
They are so unsettling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So unsettling. Like, I was so uncomfortable at times that I did not watch the screen and just listen to the audio because there was just something about those eyes.
Yeah, they're creepy in a good way. They're like, it's meant to unsettle you, and it does.
And it does. Yeah. Which brought up another question. Are those physical contact lenses or an effect?
I'm gonna guess
I would guess it's an effect.
Yeah. Like, I doubt they were
Here is from TrekBBS.com. What special effect did they use to make the eyes of the actors playing Gary Mitchell's and Dr. Elizabeth Dayner's eyes glow? Let's see. I guess it was a post-production visual effect versus wearing the world's most painful contacts.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not just any contact lenses. 1960s ones, very hot and uncomfortable. They were scleral lenses, which allowed the effects department to get a thin sheet of foil between the layers of the lens. A pinhole was poked in them to allow the actors to see. What? They actually had contacts?
So yeah, I think they would have put it basically the equivalent of a green screen on their eyes.
Oh,
so they could put it on there. So I had a friend who, I don't think she has them anymore. It's just you can only keep contacts for so long. She had scleral lessons for cosplay.
Yeah.
And once she had put of what I thought was a photo somewhere, and it turned out to be a GIF where she'd had scleral lenses, and I was staring at it, and then it moved, and I was like, "What the hell?" But they just made her. It was like a supernatural cosplay, and it just made her eyes completely black.
So you are looking, and they have the actors looking at a mirror in front of them, and at one point you can see the edge of the mirror in the reflection of his eye. That's crazy.
What an insane way to do the effect. Kind of ingenious for a 1960s effect.
But at the same time, if I was an actor, I don't know if I would risk my vision for a TV show.
That's fair, especially for a guest star role.
Right. Yeah. So the enemy within is okay. There was a flip shot in the opening of the enemy within as the camera booms down on the rocks. I think the bright tech. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Well, that's crazy. They were contact lenses.
You know what? Good for them, because it creeped me out. How almost 60 years later?
That's right.
I was saying both hit. Gary Mitchell was I wish you could have seen a little bit more of Gary Mitchell normal at the beginning.
Right. Also, I was wondering that part where he says that he set up Kirk with some woman when they were, was that him being weird, or was that him being honest about what he had done in the past? Because also not normal.
I think that was him being honest. I think that might have been. It's the 60s. So for some reason, this seems fine.
Yeah.
I feel like it's we always make. We're
they just say blonde scientist or something like that, right?
Yeah, but remember how we're always Lorca had to be kind of bad for people not to notice? I feel like the same thing was playing out for Gary Mitchell in this. He was kind of weird to begin with, and that's why people took so long to realize something was off.
But them just being blonde scientists though, and I was kind of sitting there, I was like, do we think it's supposed to be Carol Marcus? No one had that planned, obviously, but in my head, I was like, that kind of lines up with it being Carol. Although I'm now kind of hoping that they could bring Gary Mitchell on Strange New Worlds, because I think it'd be interesting to see them just be friends.
Yeah, that would be fun. I loved how when they have him on this planet in this holding cell, and Spock is outfitted with this belt and a phaser, and he's taking security super seriously, and everyone else is just running around I'm pretty sure it's fine, Spock. He's no, I'm wearing the thing, I got the phaser, I'm ready to go.
This is the standard issued. I must wear it, and I'm actually pretty in character.
And then like it's getting bad. He's pulling out like this caulking gun size phaser now. It's like a rifle. And everyone else is still like, I think you're taking it too far.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, have you seen this guy's eyes? I think I'm on Spock's side.
Right.
Especially when they're like watching him read really fast and then he just looks right at the camera. I'm like, oh God, like, don't do that.
If the camera was intense, like I audibly reacted to that.
I do like the very 60s thing of them being like, yeah, humans have ESP. And I'm like, sure, that's something human beings have.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure by that point in the future, it's fairly normal.
Yeah.
I did like the one scene where it says on his tombstone, James R. Kirk, because that one, like, I saw that shot so many times on Twitter over the years of people being like, look, they got the initial wrong. And like,
oh yeah.
So it was kind of fun to see the actual episode where that came from.
I remember reading somewhere that I think Gene Roddenberry was like, he's human at his core. He forgot. Like, and I was like, especially if it's something in a pilot, I'm like, I can forgive.
Sure.
I think my favorite discrepancy is they're like, they're when Spock and Kirk are playing chess at the beginning, and they're like, one of your ancestors married a human. I was like, your mother and father?
That's an ancestor. I mean,
ancestors implied they're dead, which they're not. Immediate ancestor. Like,
wait, does ancestor really mean you're dead?
I think so.
Yes, by definition, ancestors are deceased individuals from which one is descended. Okay.
Which implied, which no one, like, I mean, he hasn't talked to them for a while, but that doesn't mean they're dead. Like,
he's like very, very far removed.
Mm-hmm. But especially he was like, oh, yes, a mistake. And I was like, rude thing to say about your mother, Spock.
Okay, Lois, do you have anything else about that episode before we move on to the naked time?
I think I understand why they choose that episode for the pilot. Because you have a lot of sci-fi, a lot of new ideas, and what they were looking for is action. Fights and all that thing.
This is a very Star Trek-y episode where they're like, the morality of this, and the morality of this, and then we're going to hit him with a rock. Like,
those are still human.
Yeah. The Naked Time is the next episode, right?
Yeah, the Naked Time. All right, so...
I always forget which one is the Naked Time and the Naked Now from TNG.
Oh, yeah, so that confused me too. So... Yeah, so the title came up, The Naked Time, and I thought, is this going to be as scandalous as it sounds? But it really wasn't.
I mean, The Naked Now is them being, let's make The Naked Time in TNG. I enjoy both episodes, but they both have the same issue for me of, it's really early to do an episode where everyone's personality changes. We don't know them that well yet.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, having watched it as a kid, I'm somewhat, familiar with where these characters are, and obviously like they've shown up so much in the other Star Trek that I've watched recently, but yeah, just right off the bat that would be confusing.
I would say this is like 6 episodes in. I think The Naked Now is like 2. Like I'm double checking. It is an encounter at Fairpoint and then The Naked Now.
Oh, like right off the bat.
Yeah. So there's a little, but I was like, not quite as bad, but like, allow me to see these characters and then be like, here's them getting crazy.
I wonder if in their mind, they're like, you'll get to know them by seeing them both ways, like right off the bat.
I could see that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Fencing Sulu.
Oh, yes. Shirtless fencing Sulu.
Yeah.
I loved the hazmat suit right in the beginning. It had such pretty patterns. It was so 1960s. I don't think it was an OSHA approved seal, however, and it does seem like that did not pay off. Also, that scene where the little red drop gets on him, clearly shot and then sped up and turned on its side.
Yeah.
So, love that practical effect, but it did feel like Venom.
Yeah.
On the
So,
specimen.
yeah.
So I thought that was funny, and then I started wondering like what came first. Like,
No, it's like a fun episode, but I also one of my favorite parts is how annoyed Spock is through most of it. Like O'Reilly says one thing weird and he's like, get up. Like, no, we're not doing this today.
So this was actually first. So Venom it did not show up in the comics until 1984.
Yeah, I was just like, Venom's a fairly, in the scheme of like that, a fairly new thing compared to like Star Trek and the history of Peter Parker.
So I wonder if this inspired it.
It could have, definitely.
Yeah.
I guess which episode I was like trying to think what episode do we think gets to more scandalous, Naked Time or Naked Now, but I don't think either gets actually that scandalous.
I would say the Naked Now, right?
Yeah. It's been a second since I've watched it, so I'm trying to remember specifics.
I was surprised in the little cafeteria scene how quickly the one character pulled out a knife and then and they react, but like the people sitting at the table 2 feet away are just like, oh no, but don't move.
Yeah.
And I felt like
don't either move away or to be like, hey, grab that knife from that dude.
Right. Like had it been Discovery, like the crew would have handled that.
Yeah.
Good.
And like I get this first where they're just like trying to like calmly like, hey, put it down. I was like, that's a normal reaction. Try it because you're worried if you like lunge for it, he'll do something.
Sure.
Or if it's a knife, you could like cut yourself on it.
Right. But not even like a super, like it was like a dinner. If like they didn't even play up the knife all that much. Like, I don't know. Like a modern show, I feel like he would have been eating a steak, you know?
A butcher knife all of a sudden.
Right. And we do see Scotty in red in this episode, by the way.
In his correct color.
That's
like,
right.
I think Sulu as well. Like, no, that's the wrong color.
I really appreciated Nurse Chapel because I felt like she was speaking for the entire fandom, and she was like, I love you. I don't know why I love you.
I was like, hard save. Like,
yeah. It's like there's just something about the way he's not in touch with his emotions, but he kind of is, but he's kind of not. It's just very compelling for a character.
Definitely. Just look at romantic fiction throughout the years. You'll get it. You'll figure it out.
Also love the part where Spock is leaning against the door and he's like, I am in control of my emotions. And then just starts whimpering. And it's like, oh, yes.
Relatable. Like,
so relatable.
It's like everything's fine.
It's very 2025.
Yeah, right.
Everything's fine. Internal screaming.
That's right. 2025. I'm in control of my emotions.
That and Sulu screaming is 2025.
Yeah. All of so many things are 2025, and I wish they weren't.
I had to laugh when Kirk is just like, okay, Spock is being emotional. I'm just gonna smack his face until he gets himself in shape. And I'm like, is there a more boomer move? Like,
I was like, I understood like what Kirk was doing. He's trying to get him, but it was basically this guy was like, "You're my friend," and just starts hitting him. And I was like, luckily I know who Spock is as a character, and I understand why this is out of character for him.
Right.
But it does seem insane. Like,
yeah. Oh, the episode was so chaotic.
Yeah. I think O'Reilly's only in this episode, but I kind of loved him. Like, they're so annoyed by him. He just kept sitting. He's just like having a nice time singing.
He was singing. Oh, and then he was saying like, the women shouldn't put on too much makeup. They shouldn't be too like. And then they cut to Uhura, and she's like trying to turn him off even harder than she was before because she's not having it.
She was like, I will wear my hair and makeup the way I want to.
Yeah. Not gonna tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I also loved when they did have the antidote and Kirk walks on the bridge. McCoy just rips his shirt and jabs him with the hypospray. Like, it's just like, nope. There's no informed consent. There's no medical sign off. I'm just giving you this.
I occasionally, when I'm watching Star Trek episodes from before a certain time, I go, yes, this is before HIPAA was a thing. Like,
yeah.
Like, stop giving out people's medical information. But there's apparently a Hallmark ornament of Sulu with the sword. Yeah, I don't know what year that's from, though. I might have to see if I can find that online, because that's really fun.
Yeah.
I know. I also feel like I read somewhere that apparently it was originally like him as a samurai, and George Takei was like, I love like Three Musketeers. Let me have a rapier.
Okay. Oh, I like that.
And I think he didn't want it to be as cliche as like him, an Asian man with like a samurai stuff. Or maybe it's the katana probably was what it's probably supposed to be.
I love that. Let him input into that, and that's probably why it turned out so well, because he
was having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a reference to that in 2009, because when he's like, I have some security training or some kind of athletics. Like, what? He's like, fencing. You're like, great. I think this is the first time you see Chapel, right?
I don't think so, because I feel like last time we discussed how I didn't recognize her as Nurse Chapel after her.
Maybe in the other order, it's the first time you see Chapel. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, because I feel like I had read that somewhere, but you know, and this one kind of also hints that like Kirk has like feelings for Rand.
Yeah, we need to discuss that more in the next episode.
Yeah,
we'll use that as our transition. And with that segue, we will go right into
poor Yobin Rand.
The Enemy Within.
Yeah, enemies, right?
Yeah. So I did not enjoy this episode much.
Yeah. I understand what they're trying to do, like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. But it's also, again, really early in the series.
Right. But I didn't like that they were like, oh, look, if we separate a good person, it makes him a bad person and a good person. Like the decision-making part of him was evil.
Yeah.
And I don't like equating like leadership.
Yeah, and like the assertiveness is evil. It's like a weird. I was like, that's not the same. Someone could be assertive and know they shouldn't assault a woman.
Right.
Like,
yeah. I had a lot of issues with this one because I felt like the message was off.
Yeah. Even with like the dog, and I was like, it's a dog can be both like just to two different people. A dog can have a different reaction. Although the dog is adorable, and I want that as a costume for my brother's dog who is small.
Oh. The first thing I thought though, when we had two Kirks walk off, like, because I didn't know where this was headed. So at first I was like, oh, one looks like way more fun than the other. But of course, like, it did not turn out fun. And then the next thing I thought was like, don't tell Janeway that this is going on.
I will say, so this one also had some of the narration that was in one of the previous episodes. But because it was like the first time you hear the narration, it's like over a really kind of cool, moody shot of the evil Kirk. It very much had a film noir like aspect to it, and I kind of wish they just kind of went with that. I don't think they obviously did themed episodes, but I don't think tonally themed episodes is really the original series thing. That seems more so of a 90s Trek thing to me.
Yeah, that's true. I did like the visual cue for the audience of the eyeliner on Bad Kirk.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He looks a little bit more like a pirate. Like, I did kind of like the thing of everyone coming to Kirk, of it being like, oh, there's a everyone's just coming to Kirk and being like, we know we can talk to you, but like, what the hell are you doing? And him like not knowing because it's the other version of him.
Right.
There's a Shakespeare play about twins that are separated at birth that find each other, and they keep just getting in trouble for like things the other twin has done because they haven't met up yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me like of that, where they're like, you did this thing, and he was like, did I? What's happening? Like,
mm-hmm. Yeah, this one was definitely more of an existential exploration of the human mind.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't agree with their conclusion. And I don't know if this is just because psychology at the time in the 60s thought this way, or if this was just the writers who thought this way. And the morality aspect of it, I'm not really sure how to interpret this.
I think it is because this, like, I'm not a psychologist. I've never studied psychology. This seems to line up more with like stuff Freud was saying. Stuff whereas like in the 80s you have like your psychologist is like, you have Deanna Troi on the bridge. Yeah, no, it's funny. If it wasn't for this episode, maybe I could be like, oh, maybe Kirk and Janice Rand could have a thing, and now I'm like, no, thank you.
No. Yeah, no. And it was more graphic than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Because I hadn't seen this episode in a while, and I remembered that happened. And then I was watching it, and I was like, oh, this is worse than I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. It was pretty graphic. And I don't think that they needed to go that far to get the point across. And I don't think that they handled it afterwards in the script as well as they should have.
Her being so forgiving right after, she was like, I don't want to get him in trouble. And I was like, no. I understood why once she figured out what had happened, why like her logic would be like, oh, that wasn't really him. But like, she was like, I didn't want to get him in trouble. But I was like, no, get him in trouble. Like,
yeah.
But before the point where she knows that it's just like all his evil traits being put in one.
Yeah. No, I know that line bothered me the most out of the whole episode. And when she said it, and it was, I mean, it's of its time, but I feel like it was, I didn't like it. Just personally didn't like it. We do see Spock's pinchy pinch happening a lot, and coming to the rescue a lot in these this little section of episodes. I felt like, I don't know if it was overused, but they definitely are establishing the shoulder pinch.
Because that was reminding me that apparently at first they just wanted Spock to like just clock people, and Nimoy was like, that's insane. He was like, that makes no sense for the character, and he came up with the Vulcan pinch. So maybe Nimoy was like, let me get my thing in. Like, like the amount of things for cool things about Spock that is actually just Nimoy being like, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
Like,
that's great. I love the part too at the very end when they're bringing the crewmen aboard. And McCoy's like, severe exposure, frostbite. I think they'll make it.
Yeah. I do love it every time they cut.
They're fine.
Cut to them just doing worse and worse. At one point, they just have like tarp, and it looked like, I don't know. Did you ever have like weird parachute day at school?
Yes.
That's what it looked like they had. And they're just like trying to make a rock warm.
Yeah.
I do have a question. When they beamed up the dog alien, why did they do that?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like,
that's a really good question.
Did they just find a dog and decided, ours?
I mean, it would be difficult to leave behind. It was very cute, but they probably should have left it.
I say that as someone who has found a dog that currently lives with my brother. But, like, I know what a dog is. Like, because I was just like, did they bring that? I was like, did they establish? Because they don't know something has gone wrong with the transporter till they bring the dog up. I understood if they realized that they needed to test something with the transporter and they're like, let's use the animal on there. That I would have understood. I don't think that's what happened.
That's funny. I hadn't even thought about that. That's a really good point.
And to be clear, when we found my brother's dog, we put up signs to make sure she didn't belong to anyone. And we brought her into a vet to make sure like she didn't have a chip, and she didn't.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I think that dog was like dumped we found her on a bayou. I think she had been abandoned there.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe this little alien dog was abandoned.
Maybe someone abandoned this alien dog.
Yeah.
I am curious. I'd be curious to see how they like got the dog. I wonder if it was two different dogs or how they got the dog to like act differently. Like,
I don't know. I mean, they had like dog trainers who could maybe.
Yeah, true. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe there's just like bark, 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 bark.
Yeah.
My parents' dog is there, so I'm like, don't listen to me.
Overall, though, it was a fun 3 episodes, and it's interesting from a historical perspective and like American history sort of perspective to see the mindset of the time.
I also love the idea. Like, I was like, and maybe they are going for that, but I was like, I don't think you could actually like take out people's traits like that. Like, I don't think that's how the brain. Like, I don't think that's how the brain works.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you like took all the honestly, I think if you took all the different traits, so when both of them should be non-functioning because neither have a complete brain,
right?
Like, I will say, even though those scenes were horrible to watch, the actress playing Janice Rand did a good job, which made it distressing.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, I was like, good job, you're making me so sad.
Yeah, really uncomfortable.
Yeah. What did you think, Lewis?
I don't think that scene will survive this era.
No.
I think that they're trying to do something very basic. Is we have good and evil. Let's work with that. And it's a complicated issue how to separate the one person's mind for good and evil. Well, I think they try to do their best, and that is why they did this way.
Yeah.
Maybe if they did the same episode now, there will be more introspection, perhaps. Maybe we will have 2 captains making decisions, and people were wondering which one is, or something like that. Not that black and white.
I like that because that would leave you questioning more, like which one was which, and it would be a little bit.
They're at the end. They're like, well, this one is like, this one's not assertive enough, so he can't be captain. I was like, this one's not a sociopath though, so I'm gonna stick with him.
Yeah, but I think it's true. Now they wouldn't be so heavy-handed.
Imagine 2 Lorcas.
I want to see that. I want to see the prime one still.
Yeah.
I was trying to like look up something. Somehow the enemy within Memory Alpha page doesn't have the word dog on it, and I don't understand.
Because it's an alien.
It's an alien.
Dogs don't actually live on that planet, Rachel.
It's a small unicorn.
The little mini unicorn. How cute. Honestly, though, why don't they sell that as a dog costume?
I don't know.
Like, I could go on rants about Star Trek marketing, but that's like, I just want to put a dog in that and be like, look.
Yeah.
And now I'm imagining someone going to a convention with like a service animal in that.
Oh.
Obviously, well, not all service animals are a lot bigger, but a lot of them are. So a big version of it.
Yeah.
There are, just to be clear, there can be the small dogs can be service animals, just usually not like seeing eye dogs.
Right.
I think people were their correct colors again, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing they're going to stay in their correct colors from here on out.
I think so. I think just the two pilots have different uniforms. Because I think part of the reason they're in such colorful, like, this is absolutely true. Part of the reason they're in such colorful uniforms is they were, it was part of a thing to promote people getting color TVs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, look how colorful it is. Don't you want to see this?
I mean, do we want to do final thoughts on the 3?
Of them, which was your favorite of the 3?
I already forgot the name because it's been 5 minutes, but the one with Sulu and the fencing.
The Naked Time.
Yes.
The Naked Time.
What is a memory? I don't need that.
Yeah, no. My brain remembered the important part.
This is the most Star Trek thing. This article does not have the word dog in it. It has the word canine.
Oh, okay.
That's the nerdiest thing I've ever seen. They call it a canine throughout.
Rachel, what was your favorite?
I think, I do think it is also the Naked Time. I kind of love how chaotic it is, and it's really fun. And I love a fun Star Trek. Like, I do love an introspective Star Trek, but a Star Trek that it's just me having like this looks such a good time. I love that.
Yeah, same. I think that was what drew me to it. What about you, Lewis?
I think I will choose The Enemy Within. Also, we have Scotty saying, I can't change the law of physics.
Yeah.
With very Scottish accent.
From our favorite Canadian. All right. Well, if everybody feels like they were able to share all their thoughts, I'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, both of you, to talk about these 3 episodes of the original Star Trek series. We are going to keep going 3 episodes at a time every podcast, and we'll get through all 3 seasons. So that is the plan.
Eventually.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll take as long as it
someday.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll release them faster at some point, or maybe we won't. I don't know. There's no promises. There's no guarantees on StarFleet Radio. But we're always here, and we're here to have a fun time. That is the main goal. And we hope that our listeners have a fun time, and that this podcast reinvigorates their love for Star Trek and makes you guys, the listeners, want to go watch more episodes yourself. So that's the goal. And we are always grateful for anybody who listens. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
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 StarFleet Radio is a Balloonhead Productions presentation.